What is going on, you guys? Coast here, just talking about the NFL draft. Spent some time, been waiting. In this case, I finally get to talk about the draft. Haven't done as much research due to work and being away from sports and doing a lot of non-sports things due to work. It hasn't really caught up to me thinking about the drafts, but it's better late than never. My thoughts on the draft: Raiders 14th overall, which is nice to be outside the top 10. Means they've won enough games to do that. Uh, And free agency, they did a very good job on paper. You got Sean Smith and Bruce Irvin are the two guys I'm really looking forward to. Not so sure about the guard from the Ravens that they got, but definitely the other two guys, I'm looking forward to them. Especially Sean Smith really fills that immediate need at corner. They really needed that Band-Aid fix. Also at safety, they signed a guy for short term. So, you can't win a championship in free agency, but you can definitely get better, and the Raiders, on paper, have. But, as I said, this is just free agency. So where do we go from here? What are the needs? Well, cornerback might be the obvious one, because David Amerson might not have the year he had last season. Could be running back, because Latavius Murray hasn't lived up to the hype that I thought of. But, who knows what happens. I think the running back and cornerback may be talked about as need, but I don't want them to be drafting those two positions in round one. I don't think Vernon Hargreaves is worth it. I also don't think a lot of those other corners, like, was it William Jackson III? I don't think they're worth it in the first round. I think Ezekiel Elliott is also not worth it, because a running back, you can find guys in the later rounds. Just find some sleepers. Just have a guy that's got good vision and knows what he's doing. That's all you got to find. Oh yeah, hold on to the ball too, of course. So don't take a running back or corner in the first round. I won't be very happy if that happens. Even if they was a trade up, which I doubt they trade up, but that just hypothetically, I don't want to see that happen. So what do I want? I want defensive line or offensive line. I always talk about those two positions being a big deal. I think this class has a lot more defensive linemen worth taking in the first round, except I don't like Kim Dichie. That's the only guy I'm kind of skeptical of character-wise. There's too much potential that doesn't looks like a big bust. Otherwise, though, I like the defensive ends, the defensive tackles, all these guys like Sheldon Rankins. I'd be very happy if they took a guy for the interior or the defensive end. They need a guy that can really plug the line. Since we've had the retirements of guys like Justin Tuck and so on, they got to get younger there and just get a core player. A core player who can be an extra pass rusher and really help Khalil Mack. Of course, welcome back Aldon Smith. I know he'll be eligible for, 6 games? But yeah, an outside linebacker wouldn't hurt either. I think the guy from Ohio State would be a very interesting name. I think it's Lee, I think it was his name. So I would not mind that pick. Ragland for the Alabama linebacker, I'd be okay with him if they went there. I think linebacker could always be helpful to have compliments, because, with all apologies to Ben Heaney, I don't think he's going to be an everyday starting guy. I don't think he can be the guy to depend on. But also, offensive line wouldn't hurt. Even though they signed Osemele and then Donald Penn is back, I don't think Donald Penn has another good year left in him after this coming fall. Really, Penn, to me, is on a 1-year deal, even though it's more than that. I think you got to draft long-term and you think ahead. Taking a guy like Conklin, or if Stanley were available, which I doubt, if they took that Conklin guy for a tackle, I would be perfectly fine with that. Because I think the tackle, just having the big offensive lineman to protect Carr, that would also help a lot. I would be very happy if they went tackle. So offensive tackle, defensive end. Those are the main positions, but linebacker I'd be satisfied with too. Of course, the dark horse here is wide receiver. I would be very intrigued by Josh Doxson to complement Derek Carr and Amari Cooper. If Carr has weapons and they can fix that, I would not mind at all. That's the outside-the-box pick, which who knows what happens there, but I don't see Reggie trading down or trading up. I think he definitely won't trade up. I don't think he's going to mortgage picks for that. I wouldn't be shocked if he trades down. It depends on who's taken, of course. And there's some players I like, and I don't have them on my draft board because I'm going to assume they're off. Of course, last year I thought Khalil Mack was going to get taken maybe 2nd or 3rd overall, so when he fell to the Raiders, I was a little shocked, and I was really happy when he did. But I didn't even have him on my draft board because I thought he was going to be gone. So that worked out really well. This case, though, you got 13 teams in front of you. Reggie is going to trust his board and go with the best player on his board, no matter what. Obviously, if there's really not good enough value, he'll trade out and not care about losing out on someone else. So, yeah, they're going to draft the guy, the best player on their board. They're going to trust it. And I don't think they're going to care what position it is. They're going to go strictly by their board. So I hope Ezekiel Elliott, Vernon Hargreaves are taken just so Reggie McKenzie is not tempted to take them, because I think cornerback and running back should be addressed in rounds 2 and 3. You can kind of flip-flop there. You could also draft the safety in the later rounds. Always take a pass rusher. Always take at least one lineman on both sides. I'd like some balance. That's what I would hope for in the long run, because they need some long-term offensive linemen. They can always use more defensive linemen and more pass rushers. That's where I value things, is the line. Games are won in the trenches. So, yeah, cornerback, they do need to draft some, but don't draft it in round 1, because I don't think the value's there. There's a lot more talent and balance in the first round for other guys, especially the defensive line. So that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you have and what you want, what you'd like. Now, I'll react to the first round pick. Who knows how late it'll be, but I will react to the first round pick no matter what they do, whether they trade outs or trade down or trade up. I really doubt they trade up, but yeah, they address themselves in free agency, and they look like they'll be set there, so flexibility's there, and Reggie can take whoever he wants. We'll see you guys later. Let me know what y'all think.